In this video, we are going to be looking at assets. So let's begin by creating a new document. I'm going to go to File, New, and we're going to create, let's go HD. Okay. All right, so I'm just going to zoom out by pressing Control- on my keyboard. You can also zoom out using the zoom tool here and pressing Alt key on your keyboard while zooming. Okay, so here we have over here on the right hand side, you might be on properties or in the library, but where I want you to go is go into assets. And under assets, you have many different kinds of assets. You have animated assets, static assets, and sound clips. So under animated, you can have characters or props or backgrounds. So under characters, when you hover over each one of these symbols, it shows you what each animation looks like. Okay? But first I'm going to take a look at adding a background. So under static, you also have static characters or props or backgrounds. So these static characters do not move. They're just like a drawing that you would create into a symbol, just like the ones that you have previously done in the last class. But under static, I'm more interested in background, so I'm going to go there and I'm going to pick woods. And I click and drag over to my stage here. And here I have a nice background. And you can see that the layer is created for me. I'm going to do away with the first layer, so I just have woods. And next, I'm going to place an animated symbol or animated asset over. So I'm going to go with this cat, okay? And I click and drag it over. Here I have a cat. I can resize it by going to my transform tool and sizing it down and moving it down here. All right. And now I want to make this cat walk for 60 frames. Insert keyframe. And down here, insert frame. Okay, so it starts out off the stage on the left-hand side, and it's going to end on the 60th frame on the other side. So it's going to walk across. And of course, in the middle, I'm going to have a classic tween. And now it will look like this. There you go. And it's walking a little bit fast. So I am going to make it last actually 100 frames. Actually move it over to the 100th frame. So I'm going to click on the 60th frame where the keyframe is, click. And then lift my finger off the mouse and click again the second time and drag it over to 120 frames. There we go. And over down here, the bottom, the woods, I'm going to also insert a frame here. Not a keyframe because it doesn't have to change. And here we go. Now I have my cat walking from one to the other. One side to the other over 120 frames, which is about 4 seconds. And it keeps looping. Okay? So I'm going to add another scene. So this is my first scene where my cat walks across the forest. So I'm going to create another scene, insert scene, where I'm going to have my cat walk across a desert. Here we go. So scene 2 is a desert. Here we go. Scene 1 is the forest. Scene 2 is the desert. And I'm going to make the desert last, let's say, 120 frames. Insert frame here. Get rid of the layer 1. And I'm going to have the same thing, my cat animation. It's going to go, I'm going to make sure that I'm on the right frame. So frame 1. I'm going to have my cat walk across here, and I'm going to size it down again because I think it's too big. There you go. Okay, from here, and then on the 120th, insert a keyframe there, and move my cat over, and in between, I'm going to have a classic tween. Okay, so my cat's going to go then from the forest, walk across, scene 1, and then now scene 2. Walk across the desert, and back to scene 1, walk across the forest, and then back to scene 2, walk across the desert. Okay, I can continue adding another scene. Okay, and in this scene, I can have maybe skyscraper landscape here. There we go. And this one is quite long. And I'm going to insert insert frame and insert frame for the landscape. Okay, delete the layer 1, and then I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning and bring my cat back there and have my cat from here. Frame 1 to 120th, insert keyframe here. Move that over, and in the middle, classic tween again. All right, so now it's going to play from scene 1, where there's the forest, into scene 2, where there's the desert, into scene 3, where there's the city landscape. Okay, but I want it to end on scene 3 after the cat leaves the city landscape. I want the animation to end here instead of looping. So what I do is I click on that keyframe there, and I go to Window, Actions, and I look for actions in Code Snippets, Action Script, Timeline Navigation. I say stop at this frame. So what I really need is just this code here, but instead of needing to write it out myself, I just go look for it under Code Snippets. This text here just explains what it is. It's just a comment. It still works without this code here, this comment here. So it explains that the animate timeline will stop at the frame where you insert this code. It can be used to stop and pause timeline of movie clips. Okay, so now that we have the action here and we play it, it goes scene 1 across the forest, scene 2 across the desert, and then scene 3 across the city, and then it just stops there. Okay. So for your assignment, not your assignment, sorry, for your class exercise, I would like you to explore the different backgrounds that there are, and also with the different animations. So you can add more than just one. I just have one here, but you can make it much more exciting. For example, in my city landscape here, I can go to assets and add, some, let's see, some props here. All right, so I can add some fireworks or smoke. I can add some smoke in here. Okay, and in scene 1, I can add, what can I add here? I can add, well, maybe not in scene 1. In scene 2, I can add lightning strikes in here, right? And in scene 1, I can add maybe fireworks in there. Okay, and then let's go see what that looks like. Okay, so that's fireworks in scene 1, and now there's lightning strike in scene 2, and then there's smoke in scene 3. So you can make it as interesting as you like. So have fun with it, and please export as a GIF. So you can go File, Export as animated GIF, or you can export it as a movie too if you like. Let's try that. Go Export Movie, and it will be a Swift movie that you can export. Okay. Another thing that you can export to is export video or media, and here you can export it as a movie that you can play in a movie player. So let's try that. So any of those submissions are fine. Just letting you know different formats that you can export it into. Okay. So after you have exported into movie, it should show here as the movie. There you go. And there we have it. All right, so for your class exercise, please play around with all the different assets that you would like to, and make it as fun and interesting as you like. You don't have to follow your theme at all. This is just an exercise in learning how to create scenes, use actions, and explore the different assets. This is due on Thursday.